Real little rest in peace to my girl Ashlee Jenae.
Yes, rest in peace.
The last part, I was kind of battling with the news of her passing, and the details were blurry still, so I wasn't really quite myself. And I didn't want to jump out there with anything. But after that, somebody took to the internet to kind of give the details of this case, right? Ashlee Jenae, 31 years old, goes to Tanzania on a birthday trip with her boyfriend. He proposes on the trip. They look extremely happy, and then the very next day, she's no longer with us. And her relationship, where she was in life, her birthday, her sisters, her sister, her siblings, her parents. She was in the greatest. She was making plans, is what I'm saying. Like, she had a lot of plans. So I'm not saying that couldn't have happened. Again, I'll wait for the investigation to occur. But the people that know her and love her, it's tough to believe.
His passport has been withheld, and he is talking to them. Because before they were saying he wasn't saying anything. And I know the parents did come out and say they've only had that one communication where he told them she's going to the hospital. And
that's the other part that's weird.
That's very weird.
You communicated to the parents when you were on your way to the hospital, but not when she was deceased.
Yeah, nothing else.
That's weird.
That's odd. He did have some money. There's rumors are going around about him paying hospitals and him paying the hotel. I will say the story sounds pretty janky. I'll say that. The story sounds janky.
The original.
Did you notice the man hiding behind the tree while Ashlee Jenae was on vacation? No one realized that her fiancé, Joe McCann, had already controlled her in 3 terrifying ways, and the last one is truly unsettling. First, he deliberately took her over 14,000 kilometers away from home. He chose Tanzania, a destination more than a 20-hour flight from the U.S., essentially isolating her completely. He secretly hired local guards who claimed to protect her, but were actually monitoring her every move. With an 8-hour time difference, any desperate cry for help to family or friends would be severely delayed, leaving her trapped and alone in her most vulnerable moments. Second, he quietly took out a huge life insurance policy on her before the trip. As a hedge fund manager, Joe's flagship fund had lost 78%, pushing him toward financial collapse. Facing a halted $1 billion fundraising plan, he saw the insurance payout as his only lifeline. The so-called engagement and romantic getaway may have been a carefully calculated setup for a fatal accident that would allow him to claim the money. Finally, he took complete control of her social media accounts. Under the guise of managing a joint business, he gradually gained access to her online presence and private communications. Even after a serious fight led the hotel to separate them into different rooms, Ashlee still couldn't speak out. Those happy posts we saw online, they were likely just tools to fake a suicide and hide the truth.
And someone even said in one of the posts, "Please don't chop her up and put her in a wall." Ashlee responded, "I don't get chopped, just screwed." Someone else also said about 20 weeks ago, "He gonna unalive you." And yet another person was like, "He is going to harm you. Get out." I mean, this alone is creepy as hell, because how was she not seeing something people clocked through the screen? And when we piece together that this man was literally going broke, everything just kinda adds up. See, Joe runs a big crypto fund called Asymmetric, but word on the street is that the fund basically crashed, and we're talking about an 80% loss in 2025. That is millions and millions of dollars just gone. The fund was built to profit off big market swings, but as the crypto market stabilized in 2025, the strategy stopped working and the fund bled out. Actually, high-profile investors were furious, and one well-known figure, at Big Brain SOL, publicly stated he would never invest in such funds again after his portfolio shrank by nearly 80% under McCann's management. Now, almost immediately after the fund crash, McCann announced a new plan to raise $1.5 billion for a company called Accelerate. He was essentially trying to fail upward by launching a massive new venture while his previous investors were still reeling from their losses. And here's where Ashlee comes in. If McCann was struggling to fund his new $1.5 billion project or owed money to powerful people after the 80% loss, a massive life insurance payout would be a quick way to get liquid cash. So the assumption is that Joe's plan was to take out a policy, propose in a high visibility way to prove the relationship was perfect, and then have a tragedy occur in a foreign country with with different legal standards. That is like the perfect plot, and people think that he thought that committing this crime in Tanzania would not attract this much attention, and it's just backfiring on him because everyone is on his case. Honestly, for me, the alleged physical details are the scariest part, because some reports mention double marks on Ashlee's neck. In a normal scenario, you usually see one specific mark, but if there are two, it could mean someone tried to choke her first and then tried to make it look like something else happened.